Who really deserves the MVP? Because this year's MVP race is so talented and could go in any direction that we all have not seen this in the history of the NBA. You have an 7'4" alien dominating on both sides of the basketball. Then there's an offensive guru in Luka Dončić averaging 33 points per game night in and night out. Don't forget about the Serbian big man who is averaging an 28-point triple-double on the season so casually. And then there's Shai, who is so efficient every night, averaging 32 points per game with the #1 seed in the West. If any of these players were put in another season, they would be the clear MVP. These are 4 basketball players putting up some of the greatest individual seasons in NBA history, all in the same year, and only one of them will walk away with the MVP. Let's break this. Start with the favorite, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has controlled this race for most of the year, averaging 31.6 points on 55.3% shooting, along with 6.5 assists, 4.4 rebounds, and 1.4 steals per game. Oklahoma City holds the best record in the NBA again, and that stability hasn't come easily. Jalen Williams, an all-star and key piece, has played just 31 games due to wrist surgery and a hamstring strain, which forced Shai into an even heavier role, and he responded by keeping the offense steady every night. 4 straight seasons above 30 points already place him in rare territory, and his streak of 20-point games has now passed Wilt Chamberlain, with no sign of slowing down. Efficiency separates him from most high-volume scorers because 32.4 points in just 33 minutes per game shows control rather than excess. And that level of consistency has kept him on top of 5 straight ESPN straw polls going back to last season. In the final pre-vote poll, 88 out of 100 media members placed him first, giving him 958 points and a massive gap over the field. The betting markets reflect that same confidence, listing him at -350, and after a 47-point performance in an overtime win against Detroit, reporters pushed him to make an MVP case. His answer stayed simple, as he told them he was good and preferred to let his play speak for itself. That approach carries weight, and right now it has him in front, but the gap behind him is not as wide as it looks. Victor Wembanyama is 22 years old, in his 3rd season, and already producing 24.7 points, 11.5 rebounds, 3.1 assists, and a league-leading 3.1 blocks in just 29.2 minutes per game. Fewer minutes than anyone else in this race, yet his impact stretches across every possession. San Antonio finished his rookie year at 22-60, near the bottom of the conference, and that changed quickly because by April 1st, 2026, the Spurs sit at 58-18. Over his last 27 games, they've gone 26-1, a stretch that completely reshaped the standings. Defense drives the transformation. Opponents score just 23.8 points in the paint when he's on the floor, the lowest mark among high-minute players, and they shoot only 55.8% at the rim against him, which sits 10.7% below league average. San Antonio now ranks 3rd in defensive rating, built almost entirely around his presence. The offensive side keeps growing. On March 31st, 2026, he posted 41 points, 16 rebounds, and 3 blocks against Golden State, and across a recent 2-game stretch, he totaled 82 points, 34 rebounds, and 6 blocks in just 60 minutes. That level of production shifts the conversation. The NBA.com MVP ladder recently moved him into the top spot, and there's also a narrow historical angle, because winning now would make him the youngest MVP ever, edging past Derrick Rose based on birthdate timing. Wembanyama has not stayed quiet about it, explaining in Miami that defense accounts for half the game, calling himself the league's most impactful defender, and pointing to San Antonio's success against Oklahoma City, along with his offensive influence beyond scoring. Support from legends adds to it. Hakeem Olajuwon described him as a player with no ceiling after working with him, even suggesting he could challenge the all-time blocks record, while LeBron James labeled him an alien before he entered the league. That label keeps making more sense. March of 2026 belongs to Luka Dončić because 600 points in a single month hasn't happened since Michael Jordan did it in 1987. Over 15 games, he averaged 37.2 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 7.1 assists while shooting 49.1% on roughly 36 attempts per night, adding 2.3 steals per game during that run. The Lakers went 15-2 in those games, turning a hot stretch into something historic. Across the full season, through 62 games, Dončić is averaging 33.7 points, 8.2 assists, 7.8 rebounds, and 1.6 steals on 47.6% shooting, leading the league in scoring at 33.5 per game. This marks his first full season in Los Angeles after the trade from Dallas, and expectations were already high, yet his conditioning and consistency pushed beyond them from the start. Defense, once a criticism, has improved, with better engagement showing up in the numbers. Voters have noticed. In ESPN's final straw poll, he appeared on 97 of 100 ballots, which reflects how strong his case has become. There are complications, though. A one-game suspension after his 16th technical foul interrupted his momentum, and a late-season left hamstring injury now threatens his eligibility, since missing more than 5 additional games would drop him below the 65-game requirement. After a 42-point performance against Cleveland, Dončić kept his response simple, explaining that he doesn't decide the award, but believes he's playing well and the team keeps winning. Simple words, backed by elite production. Nikola Jokić entered this season already established, with 3 MVP awards between 2020 to 2021 and 2023 to 2024, a championship in the 1 year he didn't win, and another MVP just last season. Early on, it looked like another run at the top. Through his first 31 games before injury shifted things, he averaged 29.9 points, 12.4 rebounds, 11.1 assists, and 1.4 steals while shooting 60.4% from the field. That pace stood out even for him. A knee bone bruise forced him to miss time, and when he returned, the rhythm dipped slightly, which created space in a race this tight. Still, the finish reminds everyone who he is. Over 5 games heading into April, he averaged 25.2 points, 16.4 rebounds, and 14.0 assists on 56.2% shooting, and during the week of March 23rd through the 29th, he earned Western Conference Player of the Week with averages of 26, 17, and 14 in a perfect 4-0 stretch. Looking at the full season changes the perspective again because he's averaging 27.7 points, 13.0 rebounds, and 10.8 assists, leading the NBA in both rebounds and assists while averaging a triple-double. Voters still recognize it. In ESPN's final straw poll, he received 3 first-place votes and appeared on 99 of 100 ballots, continuing a streak of finishing first or second in MVP voting for 5 straight seasons. The issue comes down to timing. Missing that stretch created a gap, and in a race this close, that gap may be too large to fully recover. 4 players, 4 cases, each one strong enough to win in most seasons. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander brings the best record, steady production, and efficiency that rarely drops, all while carrying a roster that hasn't stayed fully healthy. Victor Wembanyama offers a two-way impact that reshapes both ends, turning a 22-win team into a 58-win contender while doing it in fewer minutes than anyone else in this race. Luka Dončić adds the scoring argument, backed by a historic March and a league-leading average, pushing the Lakers forward while managing health and availability. Nikola Jokić, even after missing time, still delivers a full-season triple-double while leading the league in rebounds and assists, and finishing strong enough to stay in the conversation. The decision comes down to definition. Value can mean winning, two-way dominance, scoring at a historic level, or controlling every part of the game. Right now, the media leans toward Shai. The NBA.com ladder points to Wembanyama, betting odds favor Shai, and Jokić continues to post numbers that complicate everything, while Dončić stays right there if his health holds. The final votes will decide it. No matter how it ends, this race stands out. 4 generational players colliding in one season, competing for one award that feels too small for all of it.